And when Angel Reese comes out and says, she ain't the only one everybody's watching, they're watching me too, they're watching others, a day later she gets ejected.
I think Angel Reese is jealous of Caitlin Clark. She thinks she's, the reason why this is all happening here. Caitlin Clark was going to get eyeballs whether she played against Angel Reese in LSU or not.
Angel Reese goes completely nuts after getting destroyed by basketball experts recently. And what Caitlin Clark did against her changed the entire WNBA. Well, as we all know, ever since Caitlin stepped onto the court, there's been no shortage of players who've completely lost their minds. It's like Caitlin's mere presence triggered an outbreak of senseless behavior, with players trying to drag her down by any means necessary, whether it's race, class, experience, or skill.
Caitlin Clark is a special player. She reminds me of a Steph Curry. A lot of times she takes those ill-advised shots that me and Chuck don't like, but they go in.
And do you know why they hate her? Because they just can't handle the insane amount of praise and love this so-called yesterday's rookie is soaking up, while they've been sweating it out for years. And let's be real, Angel Reese is leading the charge as the loudest trash talker of them all. But don't worry, the basketball experts have roasted her so badly that she's probably going to think twice, maybe even thrice, before opening her mouth again.
And Clark is the reason why a lot of great things is going to happen for the WNBA.
But both of them are rookies, right? New kids on the block, and both are pretty darn good at what they do. But here's the million-dollar question. Why is Angel Reese so jealous of Caitlin? I mean, they're both talented, so what's the deal? Well, my friend, everything has a reason, and this one is all about the spotlight. The difference between Caitlin and Angel is like comparing a seasoned chef to a line cook. They're both in the kitchen, but only one is cooking up Michelin star dishes.
Angel break these rookie records has been phenomenal, but when it comes to Indiana and Chicago, Indiana is the more complete and together basketball team on both sides of the ball, which makes them a dangerous team in the playoffs. Chicago still fighting to hold on to that playoff spot.
Let's break it down. Caitlin Clark's stats aren't just good. They're the kind of numbers that make you do a double take. We're talking an average of 17.1 points per game, 8.2 assists, and 4.9 rebounds. This girl isn't just playing basketball, she's rewriting the rule book. She's a triple threat, a one-woman army on the court who can flip a game on its head just by showing up. Now, Angel Reese isn't a slouch. She's putting up 13.5 points and grabbing 11.9 rebounds per game, which is nothing to sneeze at. But when you stack her stats next to Caitlin's, it's like bringing a knife to a gunfight. The numbers don't lie, and they're telling us that while Angel's got a game, Caitlin's in a whole different league.
Caitlin Clark is the reason why everybody has an opinion on what happened in that game. It's Caitlin Clark. Now, do I think it was assault?
And guess what? This didn't sit well with our dear Angel. Nope, not one bit. Feeling like she was stuck in Caitlin's shadow, Angel let her emotions take the wheel. And boy, did she take a wrong turn. She started to let that green-eyed monster called jealousy get the best of her. And before you knew it, she was acting out in ways that had nothing to do with healthy competition. As Dan Patrick said,
"You're not coming in and dominating our game."
The highlight, or lowlight, depending on how you see it, of this drama was during a crucial game when Angel, clearly fed up, decided to channel her inner WWE wrestler. She whipped out the "you can't see me" hand gesture. Yep, the one John Cena made famous. And threw it right in Caitlin's face. Here you go if you've missed it by any chance. Now, doing that in the heat of the moment might seem like a power move, but in reality, it was more like a desperate attempt to get some attention. This game didn't just make headlines for what happened on the court. It became infamous for the drama that followed. Reese's taunt was like a big flashing neon sign saying, "I can't keep up with you, so here's a distraction." And let me tell you, the basketball world didn't let it slide. Legends, analysts, and pretty much everyone with a Twitter account had something to say about Reese's little stunt. They didn't just see it as a cheap shot, they saw it as proof that Reese was more interested in tearing down a better player than in stepping up her own game. Here is what Holly Rowe added.
Yeah, I'm really frustrated by this. This is such a distraction. And I was, obviously going through social media last night. And I have a question for you. I really am genuinely interested in this because it seemed like the people that had the biggest problem with the trash talking.
As the internet does, it blew up with memes, hashtags, and hot takes, all centered around that single moment. You can't seem trended, but not in the way Reese probably hoped. Instead of rallying around her, people used it to point out just how far she'd fallen behind Caitlin. It became a symbol of Reese's frustration and Caitlin's ice-cold composure. While Angel was busy trying to get in Caitlin's head, Caitlin was too busy dominating the game to even care. But still,
I was disappointed that Angel used that moment. You just won the national title. Use that moment with your team. Don't do it for that. You got the ultimate scoreboard there. But it felt like she was tracking her down to put it in her face, and Caitlin Clark, to her credit.
But honestly for me, Caitlin's response was the ultimate power move. She didn't need to clap back, didn't need to engage in the trash talk. Her game spoke volumes, and that's all she needed. Her performances are absolutely mind-blowing. We're talking record-shattering, expectation-defying highlight reel stuff, and then there was that game on August 30th, 2024. That's my ultimate favorite. And girl, if you missed it, you missed history. Clark dropped a jaw-dropping 31 points and dished out 12 assists against the Chicago Sky. Now this wasn't just another day at the office. This was a full-blown statement. First one in WNBA history to pull off those numbers in a regular season game. And she did it like it was just another Tuesday.
According to ESPN Stats and Information Research, Clark is the first rookie in WNBA history to have 40 points, 15 rebounds, and 15 assists in a 2-game span. The Fever have now won 3 in a row. The teams face off Sunday at...
And the Rookie of the Year debate was over before it even started, thanks to Caitlin's insane achievements. Her scoring, top-notch, her playmaking, unmatched, and her overall impact on the game, well, it left everyone else in the dust. Even when Angel Reese tried to throw shade, mumbling about how stats don't tell the whole story, the numbers were just too loud to ignore.
That Caitlin Clark is the golden goose. She's the cash cow. And wherever she goes, ratings follow. The WNBA draft, the doubleheader, the open NBA season. Ratings. I'm going to remind y'all that in the 28-year history of the WNBA, only 9 players in the league's history have eclipsed on-court earnings of $1 million.
And whatever Stefan is saying is not without any reason. Clark's averaging 17.1 points per game and 8.2 assists, and for a rookie, those are some serious big league stats. Compare that to Reese, who, while decent with her 13.5 points and 11.9 rebounds, just can't touch Caitlin's all-around game. It's like comparing a solid B+ to an A++, and everyone knows it. And every time Reese tried to downplay it, she just ended up shining an even brighter light on Caitlin's superiority. And let's talk about the impact. Caitlin Clark is causing a full-on tsunami across every level of basketball. Her rise has brought a whole new level of attention to the WNBA, with viewership numbers and merchandise sales going through the roof every time she's on the court. And on social media, she's a viral sensation. Her highlights are everywhere, drawing in fans who might never have given women's basketball a second glance. Clark isn't just a player, she's a movement, inspiring a new generation to dream big and ball even bigger.
And Angel Reese has figured out a way to market herself and to be marketable. And to some degree, albeit a small degree maybe, utilize Caitlin Clark's presence to pull it off. This is not an insult. This is acknowledging Angel Reese was smart.
Meanwhile, Angel Reese's trajectory? She started out with so much promise, but her on-court antics have turned into a bit of a mess. The backlash was swift and brutal. Charles Barkley, never one to sugarcoat things, called Reese out on Inside the NBA, labeling her actions as immature and unsportsmanlike. Ouch. And Shaquille O'Neal? He didn't hold back either, reminding everyone that trash talk is only cool if you can back it up on the court, something Caitlin did with ease, while Reese didn't. This whole jealousy thing became the big talking point. Everyone started speculating that Reese's behavior was driven by the harsh reality that she just couldn't keep up with Caitlin. Every time Reese took a jab at Clark, it just made the gap between them even more glaring. And the more Reese tried to tear Caitlin down, the more she highlighted her own shortcomings.
And when Angel Reese comes out and says, she ain't the only one everybody's watching, they're watching me too, they're watching others, a day later she gets ejected.
Public opinion? It's done a complete 180 on Reese. Fans who once cheered for her are now turning their backs, fed up with her antics. Social media, which could have been her playground, has turned into a battlefield where she's losing ground fast. The hashtags? No longer in her favor. The memes? Well, let's just say they're not flattering. Reese's attempts to do damage control, apologies, explanations, have been met with nothing but side-eye and skepticism. The verdict's in, and it's not looking good for Reese. The public has spoken, and they're not buying what she's selling anymore.